Hi, welcome back. It's Lionel, tech lead and partner at Westfall. And today I want to respond to a question I saw on my channel from Michael O'Donovan, who was asking what is an API and can I explain an API? Now, first and foremost, I want to say I really welcome questions by everybody. One of the things that in the tech business, right, is that you see a lot of terms being used all the time. And I can tell you for a fact that a lot of people don't know what these things are. In fact, most of the time they're faking it. They have no idea where they're microservices or APIs or anything like that. And even myself, okay? Sometimes I'm faking it. But it's always good to ask these questions. Even if someone is a tech lead, it doesn't mean they know everything about everything, right? So let's go back and actually answer what is an API. An API is a application programming interface. Okay, that's the long word of what is that. But in simplicity, right? Let's say you want to interact with a computer. You need some form of interface, and that's called the user interface or the UX, or very simply a keyboard. So the easiest example I can give you is a lift. When you go to the lift, you have usually one button or two buttons. One button to call the lift, two buttons maybe up or down. That's a more complicated interface. So that is designed by the makers of the lift to allow you to manipulate or manage the application or the lift, to call it down or make it go down or make it go up. You can even just have one button and just make the lift come down to your floor and open up. And after that, you decide where it goes. So that is an API. That is an application programming interface. The only difference is when we talk about APIs is that usually the user is not a physical person, but an application, right? You're trying to get one piece of software to talk to another piece of software. So imagine a robot using a lift. Now, we got to go more into depth about this. There's usually a few things we talk about when we're discussing an API. The first issue is authentication, right? You don't want someone that you don't want accessing your application. This could be, example, some sort of hacker that will endanger you in the lift. So that's the first part of a API. How do we authenticate? How do you make sure we keep the bad guys out? So in software, right, remember, computers are stupid, right? They can't see if someone's a criminal or some bad malicious software is trying to use your API. They can't. So you need some form of authentication. It could be RESTful or some sort of token, right? That's a more detailed area, but this is one of the concerns when you talk about APIs, right? It's the extension of that. The second issue is control. My lift system can set the lift to go up or down. I could make it even more detailed if I wanted to send you've seen some of these with a numerical keyboard that allows you to go to different floors. That's what you want to worry about, different users accessing different amounts of information and getting it cleanly. So this is the part where you call about control of information or delivery of information. So there are many different ways that they can talk to each other. You've heard of RESTful, Graph, XML, all these kind of formats. These are part of different ideas of how we can have the systems talking to each other. So that's the second part. The final part about it is multi-use APIs. What if I want to do more than just move my lift up and down? What if I want to change the temperature in the lift, or I want to change the lighting or the mood settings? The people building these buttons and these interactions have to think how much control they want to give over to you. They have to think about what they want to allow you to control. Are these things dangerous? Maybe you could give me access to the speed of the lift that would endanger the lives of the people in there. If you give me control of the aircon, maybe I could turn it off and kill everybody in there. So API needs to think about multi-use of this control system. It's not just basic users who want to use it, maybe more advanced people who use it. The problem is that if you make different levels of APIs for different people, right, it starts to get very expensive. There's like one control panel for each group of people. Another way is a single control panel that can restrict access, or a single control panel that is tied to the user's usage. So that's a UI UX idea. You want to have multi-users. Remember, there are multiple different kinds of users who are going to use that API. Many different programs. You could have AWS or Dropbox or one of these guys accessing it. So you need to think about whether your API is about multi-use, whether there are many different kinds of people going to use it. And this is where things get very complicated. It's very easy to serve one person, very difficult to serve lots of different kinds of people. So these are just the overall umbrella of what an API is. You can probably study more about it, and there's probably more information online. But essentially, API, just keep it simple. It's a method of how computers talk to computers. That's the bottom line because Tech Lead said so.